So, recently, as in yesterday, for me at least, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get this video out in a day, Mojang just randomly chucked a new light source and a new block, or 3 new blocks, into the Bedrock betas. Now, the way you get these is having frogs eat a little magma cube, but not bigger or medium magma cubes, which makes it a little challenging. So I've come and designed my own farm for how to farm these new Froglight blocks, and there are 2 different methods, so make sure that you choose the right method for what you are doing. The first method is natural spawning, the second one being using a spawner that you find inside a Bastion Remnant. Before we get into how to build a farm, you need to know where to build the farm. And, unfortunately, this is one of those parity differences where it changes depending on the version. In Minecraft Java Edition, you want to come to the nether roof inside a basalt delta biome, which you can check in the F3 screen, or it's the spiky, lava-y, blackstony biome with the basalt in it, and the magma cubes. That's where you want to build it, and you want to build it above the nether roof. If you don't know how to get into the nether roof, you can look it up online. If you're on Bedrock Edition, you're going to want to build it in a basalt delta as well. However, you will have to build it below the nether roof, because if you get into the nether roof on Bedrock Edition, well, it is possible you can't place blocks, which means that you are stuck on the nether roof forever, and you do not want that. So, if you're on Bedrock Edition, you build it inside of this biome here. You want to build it inside this area. Just find a pretty big open space where you can build it. If you're on Java Edition, you want to do that, come up. Use the glitch that gets you into the bedrock and through the bedrock. As I said, you can find somebody else's video on that. There's tons of them out there, how to glitch through the bedrock and even how to break the bedrock in survival mode. You get through and you build it above the nether roof. You can also build this in a nether waste biome, however it will reduce the rates of this biome by quite a bit. If you're using a spawner based farm, you've found a spawner, that's where you're building it. There's no way to move the spawner. So basically build the farm around the spawner, which would be this piece of black concrete, and then just build this all below it. You don't really have the choice. The natural spawning method, you have to come and put iron golems up in the middle, kind of like what I've done here, with the posts, for the fence posts, all the way up on every side, and then basically iron golems stacked as close together as possible. These have to go a ways above the bottom platform you have, so that big magma cubes cannot jump on top, because then they'll just get stuck, and that could result in something that you don't want happening. So the higher you go, the better. These platforms are 21 by 21 squares. So this is 21, and then the slabs are on the top half of their block, which means that if I place another slab on top and break it, it does not get broken, but if I place it on the bottom and break it, they do both get broken. As I said, this is a 21 by 21 square, and then in the middle you just have to have a 7 by 7 cutout for the magma cubes to fall through. Build as many of these platforms as you want, 2.5 blocks above each other. This means that you should be able to jump and have a kind of like head hit like that. It's not like you can just fit under it, but if you jump, you hit your head before you start falling down. This 2.5 is because magma cubes need a 2.1 block space vertically to spawn, so 2.5 gives them plenty of space to spawn. Then magma cubes will locate the nearest iron golem, if there is one, and run at it. Oops. Or hop at it, I guess. And the reason this is 21 by 21 is because using some trigonometry, I figured out that 11 by 11 gave you about a distance of 15.2 blocks away, and they can sense it within a spherical range of 16 blocks. So this should pretty much give you an adequate amount of distance from anywhere to go into the iron golems. You could extend it out this way up to like 16 blocks away from the middle. However, I didn't want to do all the trigonometry required to figure out how to get those, so I just made it into a square and made sure that the diagonals worked. Now, if you're using a spawner-based system, this is when you want to start. It has fundamentally the same bottom bit, just the top bit that spawns the mobs is different. So if you used a spawner, you would put your spawner here, roughly, and then box it in completely. With these, you don't need to box it in completely. You don't even with the spawner. I'm not sure how Magma Cube spawners work. I'm assuming that they're the same as normal ones, so you go like 9 blocks in every direction, I believe. No, 4. 4 blocks in every direction. Yeah, so this is an adequate space. This is an 11 block long fence. And then it's 4 tall. Make it 4 tall. Then once you finish this 11 block long fence that is 4 tall, you want to go and make these all with bottom row slabs. That is actually not that important, but bottom row slabs will prevent other things from spawning in here, which I don't think means anything, but it's a bit more convenient. Like, you won't have issues with mobs spawning inside other mobs and all that. So I would just put them on the bottom row slabs because mobs cannot spawn on bottom row slabs. So once you've built your fence and you've got the floor built, you want to build these iron golem cages. Basically what you've got to do is go 4 up, all the way to the top of the fence on both sides, but leave this gap here so that they can get through and see the iron golem so that they can get attacked by it. Then you don't want to have these yet. You want to put these in last, and then you want to build yourself an iron golem. Make sure to do it above the fences because it will not spawn if it's connected to the fences. But now you drop it in and you've got an iron golem. And I can do the same here for this little bit. And basically repeat this for every corner. You don't need to. You can get away with only using 1, but it is preferable to have 4. You could even put 8 with using some on the sides here if you wanted, because I believe they have a hitbox that would prevent them from fitting through a fence. Then, once you've got these, you want to get your frogs inside this room. Now, getting your frogs inside this room is a bit challenging. You need to ignore my inventory clutter and build another portal. I'd say just build it underneath this block here. You can build it wherever you want. Just build it inside the confines of your thing. Then once you light the nether portal, you have to go through it to get frogs. But first order of business, go back through it and make sure that it takes you back through here. Basically, this is because any other nether portals, like that you would have built to get to this position, it could and probably would link to, so you have to go and break those using a diamond pickaxe or a lava bucket, I believe works if you place it like that, like right there basically. And providing it goes through to here, you are good to find your frogs. Now, this is time to talk about the 3 different variants of the Froglight. The Froglight has 3 variants, purple, orange, and green. And these kind of correspond to frog colors. The purple light comes from the white frog, which comes from tadpoles that grow up in warm biomes, such as the savanna, the desert, or even the nether. The yellow one, the ochre, the one that nobody knows how to pronounce, comes from frogs that are orangey brown, that like sort of rust color, and those come from frogs that spawn in biomes such as the plains or the end. And there's a few others, I believe oak forests and all those are also medium biomes. And then there's the green light, which comes from green frogs, which you get when a tadpole grows up in a cold biome. That's being like snowy biomes, and actually I believe it's only snowy biomes. There's no like 3rd dimension that is a cold biome. So then once you grow them up, make a minecart track into the thing. Block up behind it, because when you have an entity inside of a minecart, it doesn't actually go into the portal. You have to break the minecart first to make it go through the portal. Or, if you're getting them from far away, you can send them through the nether by doing that, and then just have, like, don't make the railway out of obsidian, but just have a railway going into it, drop them in. It probably wouldn't actually make it over that. You have to have it one higher. Drop it in, and then break the minecart. Then once you're done getting all the frogs in here, break the nether portal. Now you have one last step to do. So you want to go to the bottom, and then basically just take any block, it doesn't matter which block, and make a few rows of it, 1 block underneath where you built all the slabs. And you don't need this fence, this is just here from leftovers of a different iteration, which is not as good. And then you need to make sure that you have solid blocks, i.e. not fences, right here, because that's where your track is going to end. You're making a railway, by the way. You need to make sure that you have a solid block there, because that's where your railway ends. And over here is going to be a little mechanism right there. When you're building your platform, you need to make sure that you have redstone blocks fairly close to the middle. They don't have to be in the middle, but they have to be fairly close so that all the powered rails that you connect to it get powered. You should also probably do the row outside right here. So I'm actually going to move that. That fence can stay there. And you want to put it here still. Yeah, so you put the solid block there. Make sure that these are all blocks you can place rails on, and then you need to get out some powered rails and some rails and just rail the place up. So I've got some powered rails. What you want to do is run it into this block, and then just powered rail, then you do that, and powered rails on the row back. Then at the end, you do a regular rail, and then powered rails. These don't all need to be power rails. I think you only need the ones in the middle, but the more the merrier when it comes to powered rails. You can use as many regular rails as you want. I just use powered rails because, I don't know, I want to use powered rails. A good pattern to place your rails in is that, and then that gets you the corners. So if you do this, and then that, and that, you may find that you are having troubles to connect the rails because they would always turn every which way when you place them. So if you just do that and then come over here and do that, you will not have issues of the rails turning sideways to accommodate for weird things. And then at this last row here, you want to cut out this second last powered rail and do it like that. That's actually not going to be there. I'll show you what I mean in a second. And then replicate the same thing for the other side. So then now you've got all of the rails placed except for this one here. And here you want to take a chest, place the chest down. That is your collection chest. Then you need a hopper. And you place the hopper on top of the chest by holding shift and clicking the chest. Then you hold shift and place a rail above it. Place a solid block, so pretty much any block other than like a redstone block or glass, right there. And then you build it one up above the chest and the comparator reading the hopper. So you place the comparator reading the hopper into a block with a redstone torch on it. This redstone torch powers the block that powers a repeater and powers this rail. Basically, this means that whenever your minecart hopper, because that's what you're going to be using to collect all the items that get dropped, whenever it ends up here, if an item gets picked up by this hopper, it'll shut this off, which holds the brakes until it is empty. And now I believe you should have a full functional Froglight farm, providing you have your frogs in, you have your things in, and although you can't get Froglight in Java Edition yet, and I'm not sure what the scoop on Bedrock is, I don't know if you can get frogs in regular survival mode, but currently this functions fairly well as a Magma farm, so like you could use it as that as well. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you can now farm Magma Cream and Froglights when they are released to your heart's content. I hope that you have a really, really good day. Bye!